If you're anything like me, you probably have lots of data, pictures and videos and whatnot, and you probably don't feel comfortable storing all of it on the cloud, or maybe even any of it. So you might want a local solution, like a NAS. That's network attached storage, where you can have a whole lot of hard drives hooked together to give you all the space you need. And sure, you can buy a pre-made NAS, but then you're stuck with that company's OS choices, its hardware choices, even the style of case, which more often than not is a boring box. What if you could build your own NAS from almost scratch? Today, we're looking at the ZimaBlade, a single board computer server, and the optional kit you can buy to turn that into a fully blown NAS at a pretty affordable price. Just watch out for the fire hazard. This is the ZimaBlade, an SBC computer that can effectively act as a server in your home. This particular model is powered by a quad-core Intel Celeron processor with Intel HD graphics, 32 gigabytes of eMMC storage, and a SODIMM slot so you can provide your own RAM. You'll also find an Ethernet port, a USB 3.0 port, a mini display port, and a USB-C port for power, though we're going to talk about that USB-C port in a little bit. This version of the ZimaBlade costs $120. It comes with Casa OS pre-installed, which lets you set this up as a NAS if you have the right hardware. And naturally, you can buy this decked out NAS kit for another $165. That includes the ZimaBlade, a 16 gigabyte RAM stick, mini display cord cable, 2-bay hard drive rack, and a SATA Y cable to connect it all together, and a USB-C power cord that we definitely will talk about later. You'll need to provide your own hard drives. So how well does it all work together? Well, let's go back in time to when I assembled this kit a few months ago. So this is the ZimaBlade NAS kit. Now, a couple of notes though, it does not come with these hard drives. I've supplied these myself. I'm going with Seagate IronWolf 2 terabyte NAS friendly drives. I'll leave a link to something like this below. These are older that I had on hand anyways. It also doesn't come with the necessary screws to lock down those hard drives into this bay. I'll link a kit below as well. The base unit comes with the Y cable we will not be using because this NAS kit comes with its own Y cable. Getting started is pretty easy. First thing you do, take this kit, which is basically the main computer kit, and you'll be placing it up here, no screws or anything, but we need to install the RAM. This NAS kit comes with a 16 gigabyte single DIMM of RAM, and we'll have to take out some screws. There are 2 screws. Actually, first we'll have to pull off this black cover. There are 2 screws in the case. That'll just come right up. I would keep your box to this ZimaBlade kit handy because it's a great way to hold the screws themselves. And then the whole case just kind of folds off. And I'm just going to take my box bottom and turn it upside down. That way I won't lose my screws. There are 2 more screws. You do not have to remove these. We're going to install our RAM. It's nice and easy to access right here. If you've ever installed RAM on a computer, it's just the same. Just slip on, push down, and you're done. And then we'll reattach the case top. Like I said, you're just going to place that right on top. You'd think it'd be more secure than that, but it's really not. We'll take our 2 hard drives, slide them into the bay. Slid right through. That's why we need these screws. Always be gentle when you're handling these kind of hard drives. They use spinning discs and they do not take well for drops. So now that we have those installed, we can slip the ZimaBlade right on top and we'll start installing our Y cable. The ZimaBlade comes with a Y cable, but it doesn't have enough connections for this particular use. So the NAS kit comes with a better one that has room for both the hard drives. We'll start by connecting it to those. You'll find the 2 ports in the back and it'll just slip right on, followed by the second one, and then this right in the middle. This won't be the world's prettiest NAS setup, but usually when you go DIY, you don't get the same amount of prettiness. I'm gonna run this headless, so we'll head to my office to see the next part. So the first thing you want to do is open a browser and head to the IP address for your new ZimaBlade server. You'll have to check your own router to find that out. I have no way of determining that for you. And you'll immediately get this screen where you'll need to create an account if you don't already happen to have one. I don't, so I'm gonna create one real quick. And you can choose to accept this or not. We're not gonna. And here we are. We have our main thing here. We have our storage manager. I see both my 2 terabyte drives. Sync data options, or syncing files between multiple devices, an app store, files, and so forth. For the last few months, I have been putting this NAS kit through its paces as a Plex storage unit. I'm happy to say it does a good job of that. No, it's not the most powerful server you could ask for, but it's pretty equivalent to other NAS units in its price range. The Celeron processor is up to the task of handling data storage and is quick to stream my movies through Plex, whether I'm in the house or out. Although I should be specific on that. I'm not using the ZimaBlade as the actual Plex server itself. I have a Mac Mini taking care of those duties. This is just taking care of handling the data storage and providing the files to my Mac Mini's Plex server software. That offloads the hardest part to a much more powerful piece of kit. But it works just as well as when I was doing the same thing, but using my much more expensive Synology NAS to hold all my Plex files. But I did want to see what this thing is made of, so to give it a workout, I also tested out using it as the brains of a Minecraft server and as a WireGuard VPN host. Both those functions worked, although you can only expect so much for a Minecraft server when you're using just a Celeron processor. If you want to give this thing more power though, it has a PCIe port that you can connect a GPU to. I didn't test that specifically, but I did notice that when I tried to line my GPU up to it, the metal guard that normally goes on the outside of a PC tower blocked a full connection. So I was going to have to remove that to make it happen. And not every PCIe card will work with this. So you'll have to go through the list and make sure your GPU is compatible. But still, I like that that's an option to give this thing more oomph, especially when you want to do something incredible like hosting your own Minecraft server. I was honestly pleased with all the results I got using it the way it's intended. I have one complaint about the hardware, and we'll get to that in just a second. Because first, we should talk about the default operating system, CasaOS. CasaOS is, how do I put this nicely? It's basic. I mean, honestly, it looks a bit like macOS and Synology's Disk Station Manager had a baby and, well, that baby never grew up. You can connect the ZimaBoard to a monitor, but you don't have to at all thanks to its web interface, which I appreciate because I prefer to run my NAS headless. By default, you'll find just a few widgets giving you basic stats in the App Store. I started out extremely confused because I couldn't find RAID options to set up my hard drives. And that's because right now, CasaOS doesn't have proper RAID options. All you can do is merge the drives, which is equivalent to RAID 0. That gives you the advantage of creating one larger hard drive out of your 2 physical hard drives. But the downside of that is you'll lose all your data if either of your hard drive fails. And I do not love that. I would prefer to have other RAID options. And as far as I can tell, adding more drives doesn't give you new RAID options. Whether you have 3, 4, 5, 6 connected, all you can do is either merge those drives or keep them entirely separate, which is really pointless in a NAS. I'm really disappointed that right now you cannot do more in CasaOS. You can at least download some apps to extend its capability in other areas, like a Minecraft server or WireGuard, various smart home systems like Home Assistant, and yes, you can make a Plex server. But if you want anything more powerful than that, you'll need to load a different OS. The good news is that's totally possible and maybe something worth considering. FreeNAS is a good option, for instance. I didn't test that for this review as I wanted to get a feel for the ZimaBoard as offered by Zima, but let me know in the comments below if you'd like me to do a follow-up video where I try that out. And while you're at it, maybe consider hitting that subscribe button. Now, I've mentioned the USB-C port in the ZimaBlade and the USB-C cord that Zima sells for it a couple of times now, and we need to talk about it because this cord is not one that you should plug into any other device ever. This USB-C cord delivers 12 volts at 3 amps, which is technically a part of the USB-C Power Delivery 3.0 standard, but it's optional. Not every cord does this, and not every device accepts it, which is a big deal, and probably why this has a tag on it saying, "Do not charge other devices," connected right to the cord. And curiously, even though the USB-C port on the ZimaBlade seems like it's a power-only support, I used a micro camera to get a closer examination and found the port does have data lines, but not for transferring files. When you plug this USB-C cord into the ZimaBlade, it uses that data access to work with the chip on this board, an Analogix ANX7447, which can handle USB-C Power Delivery 3.0. All that negotiating work is done on the ZimaBlade, not by the power cord itself. The power cord seems to be fixed at 12 volts. That means if you plug this USB-C power cord into nearly any other device, it will probably fry it, which is why it comes with this label. This also means that not any USB-C charger will power up the ZimaBlade. It needs to specifically be capable of delivering 12 volts or it just won't work. Not all USB-C chargers can do that. Many don't realistically. I recommend buying this charger from Zima, as thankfully they aren't expensive. And if you order the NAS kit, it'll come with one. But make sure you only use it with the ZimaBlade, or you're gonna fry your other devices, and that's not good. I also want to mention that while I was investigating this, I removed the board entirely from its casing, and I discovered another issue. This board is attached to the back of the casing by thermal paste and screws, and that thermal paste was applied far too liberally and not accurately enough. It had way too much and it didn't even manage to cover the entire processor. It's like someone smeared a whole bunch down and then just assumed the mere squeezing pressure would take care of the rest. But this doesn't squeeze in place like a regular processor. You don't get as much pressure, so it didn't do the job. I cleaned all that off and I reapplied the right amount of thermal paste and made sure it was in the formation that would properly cover the processor. Now, that's my particular ZimaBlade. Maybe the one you buy will be just fine, but if you happen to notice it seems to be overheating, that's the first thing I would investigate. So what do I think of the ZimaBlade NAS kit? Well, honestly, overall, I like it. It's not the most beautiful NAS kit you can buy, but you get a certain satisfaction from assembling it, even if you're not building something from scratch. The price for this entire kit is pretty close to other quality 2-bay NAS drives you can buy, and overall it works very well. Casa OS is still far too limited, but you can swap that for something better, and that's one of the best things about the ZimaBlade. It's truly yours. And yeah, you can change out the OS on some other NAS units, but not all of them. And here's the important part. When a pre-built NAS like Synology goes end of life, you're out of luck. You essentially have to replace the entire thing, from the case on the outside to the circuitry on the inside. This little NAS kit, as ugly and bare bones and basic as it may be, is something you can keep and replace with a different single board computer someday when the ZimaBlade reaches its end of life. And while that's not perfect, it's better than tossing everything out. You could honestly buy any old rack and a different single board computer to get the same result, but this is a nice kit where you don't have to do the hard work of sourcing parts and checking for compatibility. It's a nice middle ground, and I like that it's solid. Overall, I think I have to give ZimaBlade a lot of credit for what they've done here. This is a solid single board computer and a nice affordable system to build your own NAS, and you have lots of options even if Casa OS is kind of limited. You can at least customize it. It's a really good buy, as long as you don't mind the fire hazards. That's it for this review, but don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, bye!